on. They say women are detail-oriented. This is one of the reasons why Full Energy Solutions company in Ruiru has a number of women employed higher as compared to men. Moreover, women have gotten the priority in the company for empowerment purposes. Brownie Turver visited the company and filed the following report.
They say a woman's place is in the kitchen, or so they used to say, but not quite anymore. Traditionally, a great percentage of those collecting firewood in the rural areas would be women who then only recognized firewood as the only source of fuel energy. Fast forward to several years later, and energy-saving solution stakeholders have stepped in to provide alternative means and in the process create jobs to women in the manufacturing sector. According to Elizabeth Karinga, who is a quality analyst at Ban Manufacturing Company, the manufacturing of the stoves brings together the expertise of different employees working on the factory floor, whom a majority are women.
The materials come to the assembly lines, and once the material comes to the assembly line, they are formed to make a complete stove. This stove is made by mostly women because more women are there in Ban manufacturing. I think Ban has employed more than 60% of women.
The process of making a single charcoal stove takes a maximum of 1 minute, which turns out into an average of 100 of them in an hour. Violet Mokai, the company's senior inventory assistant, has worked here for 5 years. And she is happy that as a woman, the company has offered a tremendous growth in her personal endeavors, just like the rest of the women in the company.
I've been moving from one station to another station, which is a very good thing as a woman. I started as a line worker. For women, it's something which is so weird for other people. This job has done a lot. Pays my bills, my parents, and all that.
Ban Manufacturing Chief Executive Officer and founder Peter Scott explains that the idea under the carpet for having more women than men on board was to emphasize on the fact that there is more that a woman can do given the same opportunities as men.
It only makes sense for that as a starting point. To say, let's have 50% men, 50% women. But once we started from that, then we just sort of allowed it to kind of flow, and we didn't restrict it. And where it's landed is about 60% women. 40% men.
Amidst the government's efforts to ward off the looming drought stemming from cutting down of forest trees, Scott says that stakeholders applaud the measures taken by the government, although urging that they should provide alternative solutions by engaging energy-saving solution stakeholders.
We support anything that will help improve forest cover in Kenya. You know, the reality is for a lot of people that live in rural areas, the only thing they have access to is firewood. But I think the government recognizes people in the rural areas have no other alternative but to use firewood. If the government cares about forests, which they do, they should work with people like Burn, who have designed these super fuel-efficient technologies.
Besides having created employment opportunities based on the demographic split between men and women, this super fuel-efficient technology design has contributed to the growth of Kenyan economy a great deal.
It's been unprecedented success. We've helped our customers save 8 billion shillings in fuel costs. We've saved, 1.4 million tons of wood, 1.3 million tons of CO2. Well, there's many issues, but there's a VAT issue where we pay VAT on raw materials. We have that changed. There's an issue of tariffs, that the Chinese imports are actually cheaper because they lowered the tariff. So we're trying to get the government to push the tariff back up to protect local business.
While the minimized use of wood cannot be effected through the use of fuel-efficient natural wood stoves, the Ban Manufacturing workplace goes against the grain to demonstrate that it is indeed women in the kitchen who run the world.
Even as the debate to completely ban timber harvesting is taking shape in Kenya, it is hoped that Kenyans who come from poor families will consider an alternative means to get fuel energy through the use of this kind of vehicles. Brian Itava, KUTV News.
Well, thank you, Brian Itava.